Hello everyone, Christina here. In today's video, I'm going to be using the Missing Your Hugs bundle that came out a little bit ago. I love this whole set of products and it was so fun to design. I'm going to be using the dies today, but I'm also going to be using the stamps just as a guide as I start planning out my card. So I'm using the SSS Stamp Strips 1 and 2. I'm not sure which set the particular die that I used is from. They come in sets of 2. I think it might be the second set, but basically it cuts out these strips that are a little bit larger than 1/4 inch wide. And then I'm using the Let Spring Begin paper pack from Craft Consortium. This came out a long time ago, or I guess long time is relative, but it's still for sale. So I will link it down below in the video description. But basically it has tons of different colors and there are 2 colors for each sheet of paper. So you have sort of a darker shade on the front and a lighter shade on the back. So I cut out a bunch of these strips out of some of the colors in the pack. I wasn't entirely sure how many of these strips I needed to use. And since I know that the Missing Your Hugs dies match exactly the stamp set, I thought, you know what, I'll just line up these strips over top of the stamp set and that will give me a good idea of how many of these strips I need to use. So it gave me an opportunity to kind of both arrange these and also maybe omit some of the colors if I didn't need them. And I actually did take out a couple of the teal shades and I think I used only one of the yellow. I can't remember. All I know is that I had lots of extra strips left over. So now I'm using some Altenew adhesive sheets. This is the double-sided adhesive sheet. And I just started putting these strips down directly onto that adhesive sheet. I didn't even put the adhesive sheet on a separate piece of paper. And I started assembling all of these strips of pattern paper, or solid paper, I should say, using the red part first. I love red. I think it might be my favorite color to use on cards. Probably has something to do with Christmas cards and Valentine's Day cards, but I've just always loved it. And I wanted to make sure that there was plenty of red on the card no matter what was on top. So I decided to start my rainbow pattern with red right in the center and then build the colors, going above the red strip and also below the red strip until I had used all of the colors that I picked out. So I'm just adhering these down onto that adhesive sheet. And then I'm going to be able to use this entire custom rainbow pattern paper that I put together all together as one. So you can see that that spans the entire length of my stripes and it's going to be perfectly sized for my card. And because I can just not help myself, I'm actually going to do 2 cards today. This one is going to be for a 5x7 card. And then I'm going to modify what I'm doing a little bit for an A2 card. So I've cut off the extra area of that adhesive sheet. And then I'm going to be adhering this entire strip of this rainbow directly to the front of my A7 card. I'm just making a little tick mark so I know exactly where I'm going to be adhering the stripes. And then I used my T-square ruler just to pencil that line on. So I'm going to adhere all of these strips of solid paper directly to the front of my card. I'm going to have it kind of cover up a little bit of that penciled line just so I can get everything on here straight. So I press that down and then I'm using that same ruler and I'm just going to cut off anything that hangs off the edge. All right, so I mentioned I'm going to be doing a second card. So I'm going to repeat what I did for the first card, and I'm going to use the stamp set as a guide. Now, because the A2 card is smaller, and I do want a lot of these strips to take center stage and still have a lot of white left on the card front, I decided to change the greeting to the Missing You greeting. So I'm just lining up those colors, and this time I had to omit more colors than I had used before. So I did the same exact thing that I did on the first card, and this time I just started with the purple at the top, and then moved down and adhered all of these little strips. I like to start adhering it from one end of the paper strip and then kind of wiggle it and really get it snug up against the strip that's already been adhered, going all the way down until I have everything pressed down onto this adhesive sheet. This is also really fun to do if you want to change out some of the strips of paper with specialty cardstocks, metallic cardstock, glitter cardstock, something like that. It's really a lot of fun. And also it's fun when you maybe have stamped a pattern on those strips just to give it something a little bit different. So like I did before, after I had adhered everything, I cut off the extra bit of this adhesive sheet, and then I kind of put it in place where it needed to be on the front of my card. I lopped off the extra like I did before, and then it was time to do the die cutting of the greetings. So in the bundle for Missing Your Hugs, you have all of the words. Missing Your and Hugs are all separate. They're not together, which gives you the opportunity to have Missing and You for the other segment as well. So I'm going to cut out these 4 words, and for the word missing, I'm actually going to cut it out a second time so that I can use it on the second card. So I cut out a bunch of these. Altogether, I think I had 4 of each word. And then when it came to stacking them, I actually used this sticky mat from My Sweet Petunia. This is the sticky mat that you generally use inside your MISTI stamp positioning tool, but I just wanted something with a little bit of grip so it would hold down the intricate die cut long enough for me to adhere the layers on top. And it really did assist me and sort of give me an extra hand while I adhered all of these little tiny intricate words together. So I stacked each one of these until I had 4 in total for each word. That just gives the die cut much more of a substantial feel. You can see how thick those look when everything is all stuck together. I cleaned up those edges if there was any glue kind of squishing out from between those layers, and then I arranged the words on top of my card. For this one where it just said Missing You, I just went ahead and adhered it directly down. There wasn't a whole lot of positioning involved. I just wanted to get this pretty much centered on the card, as well as the word You right beneath the word Missing. I didn't have to do much thinking. For my 5x7 card, I decided to use the outer shadow layer for all 3 words, and I just sort of temporarily had that placed on my card front. I used a little bit of tape so it wouldn't slide around. And then I'm going to be adhering the words directly onto the card front. And just by having the outer area already there, it gave me an idea of where these words needed to go. Now, of course, you could eyeball this. You don't have to put them in the same arrangement as what I did when I was designing this greeting, but I thought it would just give me a better idea of how to get this centered on the card without much hassle. Then I was able to just pick up that outer die and move along. You'll notice there's a lot of glue kind of squishing out. Thankfully, this honeybee glue dries clear. So I put a paperweight on top of that and let it go. Let's just dry. And then I cut out a bunch of little hearts from the same die set. I mean, I cut out a lot of hearts. I wanted to stack these as well. And then I used some glitter fun foam. I actually was creating this card live with my premium members here at YouTube, and someone in the chat suggested, why don't you use glitter foam and then you just can adhere that? And I thought, oh, why not? So that's what I did. I adhered these hearts just on the outer edges. I used the glitter foam on the A2 card, the Missing You card, and then I used the stacked hearts for the other card. I then rounded the corners with a corner rounder. This is a corner chomper from We Are Memory Keepers. And that finishes up both of the cards for today. These turned out so cute, very striking, very simple, and really easy to do. I really enjoyed this one. So here's a look at those foam hearts. And then the other card has the stacked hearts from the die cut greetings. Thanks so much for joining me today. All of the supplies I've used are listed down below in the video description. And I'll be back with another card video very soon. Thanks so much for joining me today.